Formal diagnosis of autism typically happens through a referral to the community paediatrician. It's something that parents often raise concerns with school. They sometimes involve the educational psychologist in terms of identifying the areas of need. Parents are then recommended to go to their general practitioner, to their GP, and for a referral to the community paediatrician to be made. It is a multi-professional, a multi-agency diagnosis. So more often than not, what happens is that professionals like speech and language therapists become involved in the diagnosis. Educational psychologists also have a role to play with regards to providing their views about the child's needs within that context, and all that evidence gets brought together, and then a formal diagnosis is made.
The idea about getting the diagnosis is it's not to label and to put people in a box. If they have a diagnosis, it opens up support. And it opens up channels of support because it's recognised, therefore they have rights. It gives them the right to then ask for support within an educational setting. The university has a duty to provide it. It is a struggle to be assessed and get a diagnosis within a reasonable frame of time, because the waiting lists are quite long. And so it is a long journey, I would say. What I have also found when suspecting that the individual has autism or Asperger syndrome, especially within females, there seems to be a lot of misdiagnosis as well at times, or they may easily get a diagnosis of a mental health condition before they get a diagnosis of autism or Asperger syndrome. That I see quite a bit. And so then it's trying to figure out what the best course of action is moving forward in terms of supporting them, and what support package to try and put in place. It's the individual's choice whether they want a diagnosis, if they suspect they have Asperger syndrome, but they can get support for it. The university has a duty to provide support in the meantime. So it's not well, you'll get a diagnosis in a year's time and therefore we will then support you in a year's time. That's not the case. If they suspect it to be there, the first course of action would be to go and speak to the GP, which we advise, and then we take it from there.
Well, I think first we became aware of it. Catherine was sort of showing signs of slight problems at school in terms of interacting with other children, occasionally sort of problems sort of with schoolwork and with writing, and it just didn't seem quite right. So I went to the school and sort of tried to say, look, things aren't quite right. Surely there's something wrong. Can we not try and find out? And the school seemed quite reluctant to start with. But then I pursued it, highlighting certain little things that were going on. And eventually they gave us, or referred us to, child psychologists and whatever. And we finally started to get the problem sort of diagnosed.
The process we went through in getting our son diagnosed, I hassled the doctors 2 or 3 times a week to get a referral to a paediatrician. I first started hassling them when he was 18 months old, when I noticed that he was developing at a different rate to his peers. So I was hassling the doctors 2 or 3 times a week, and I think the doctors got fed up of me and referred us to the paediatrician, who referred us over to the Ronnie McKeith Centre to see Sean. 6 months later, he received a diagnosis. But to get that diagnosis, because I'd researched autism, because I thought myself that he had autism, I'd read a lot on how they needed structure and routine. So before we went to see Sean, I broke that routine, just so she could see him as we see him, and having meltdowns and whatnot, which I think is the reason why he was diagnosed so quickly.
There's no point in them seeing the best behaviour, no point in trying to keep the quiet life. You need to do something so they see what you see every day. Else otherwise you're going to be very disappointed when you walk out.